There is one mistake that even the smartest men make with women, and they do not even realize it. It is not being too nice. It is not texting too much. It is something deeper, something that instantly lowers your value in a woman's eyes, and if you do not catch it in time, it is game over. But here is the thing. This is not just one mistake. There are 9, and each one slowly chips away at your confidence, your control, and let us be real, your chances with women. So if you want to know exactly what not to do, stay locked in, because by the time this is finished, you will never make these mistakes again. The first mistake is stopping yourself from explaining like a lawyer. Look, if you ever catch yourself over-explaining to a woman why you did something, why you texted late, why you did not call, or why you made a certain decision, you have already lost. Smart men do not explain. They state. They act. Women do not respect a man who feels the need to justify himself at every turn. The second you start defending yourself, you are showing weakness. You are telling her, I care so much about your approval that I need you to understand my every move. And that is the energy of a guy she is going to walk all over. Think about the men that women fantasize about, the mysterious, confident, and unpredictable ones. Do you think they sit around saying, hey, just so you know, the reason I did not text back immediately was because I was really busy, and I did not want you to think I was ignoring you? No. They live their lives, and the woman either gets on board or does not. Here is the secret. If a woman is genuinely interested in you, she will not need an explanation. And if she is demanding one, she is testing you. She is seeing if you will fold. So next time you feel the urge to explain yourself, stop. Let her wonder. Let her sit with uncertainty, because the moment you start explaining, you are putting her in the driver's seat. The philosopher Seneca, one of the great Stoic thinkers, observed that silence is a lesson learned from the many sufferings of life. It is not something that comes naturally. It is something that must be cultivated through experience, through discipline, through the willingness to sit with discomfort rather than running from it. And when a man masters silence, when he learns to stop explaining himself, he becomes a force that few women can resist. The Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius advised that the best cure for anger is silence. But silence in this context is not just about withholding words. It is about withholding the desperate need for validation. It is about being so comfortable in your own skin that you do not need to justify every action. The second mistake is being the nice guy who does too much. You know this guy. Hell, maybe you have been this guy. The one who is always available, always texting first, always ready to help. You think you are proving how much you care. You think you are winning her over. But what you are actually doing is making yourself boring. Women do not fantasize about the man who is always there for them. They fantasize about the guy who makes them work for his attention. Think of it like this. If you can have unlimited access to something, it loses value. Women love the thrill of the chase. They love mystery, unpredictability, and the feeling of earning your interest. A man who is too available, who she never has to work for his attention, becomes forgettable. So what is the fix? Pull back. Make her wonder. Give her space to miss you. High-value men know that their presence is a gift, not something to be handed out freely. If she is interested, she will chase. But if you are the one always trying to prove yourself, you are making her decision for her. She is going to lose interest. The philosopher Epictetus, another great Stoic, taught that no man is free who is not master of himself. And mastery of the self is exactly what this comes down to. When a man is constantly seeking approval, constantly trying to impress, constantly performing for an audience, he is not free. He is a slave to the opinions of others. And that slavery is visible in every interaction. It shows up in the way he laughs too hard at jokes that are not funny. It shows up in the way he agrees with things he does not actually believe. It shows up in the way he cannot tolerate silence without filling it with words. Women are not just perceptive. They are finely tuned to these signals. They have spent their entire lives reading social cues, assessing safety, and evaluating the emotional states of the people around them. They can feel the difference between a man who is grounded and a man who is grasping. And they are drawn to the grounded one every single time. The third mistake is letting her control the frame. Every interaction between a man and a woman has a power dynamic. Either you set the frame or she does, and if you let her take control, you are done. Women respect men who lead. They do not want to be the ones deciding where to eat, what to do, or where the relationship is going. Sure, they might throw out a suggestion, but deep down they are testing you to see if you can take charge. The second you start asking, "What do you want to do?" every time, you are making her the leader. And the brutal truth is that women do not want to lead. They want to be with a man who knows what he wants and moves with confidence. So next time you are making plans, decide. Instead of saying, "Where do you want to eat?" say, "Be ready at 8, I will pick you up." Instead of asking, "Do you like me?" assume she does and act accordingly. A man who controls the frame is the man she respects. A man who hands it over, she will get bored of him fast. The philosopher Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, taught that the goal of life is to live in agreement with nature. And it is human nature to seek connection. But it is also human nature to protect oneself from people who feel unsafe. A man who is desperate for approval feels unsafe. He feels unpredictable. He feels like he might turn on you if he does not get what he wants. A man who is grounded, on the other hand, feels safe. He feels steady. He feels like you can trust him because he is not trying to get anything from you. The fourth mistake is oversharing and killing the mystery. A woman should never know everything about you too soon. The moment she does, the game is over. There is no intrigue, no chase, no mystery. Smart men understand that attraction is about curiosity. It is about making her want to know more. But when you sit there and dump your entire life story, your fears, your emotions, and your every thought on the table, you are ruining the very thing that makes you interesting. Think of it like a TV show. If a show tells you everything in the first episode, are you going to keep watching? No. You need a reason to come back. This does not mean you should be cold or closed off. It means you should reveal yourself slowly. Let her earn your secrets. Let her feel like she is peeling back the layers one by one. Because once she feels like she has figured you out completely, she is going to start looking for the next mystery to solve. Smart men know that silence is powerful, mystery is attractive, and a little bit of unpredictability is the key to making her crave more. The philosopher Cleanthes, who succeeded Zeno as the head of the Stoic school, wrote that the fates guide the willing, but drag the unwilling. A man who is willing to be present, willing to be himself, willing to let go of the desperate need for validation, is guided toward genuine connection. A man who is unwilling, who clings to performance and approval-seeking, is dragged into frustration and loneliness. The fifth mistake is seeking her validation. You might not even realize you are doing it, but if you are constantly looking for her approval, you have already lost. Women are hardwired to be drawn to confidence, not arrogance, not cockiness, but an unshakable belief in yourself. The moment you start fishing for compliments, asking, "Do you like me?" or trying to prove your worth, she loses respect. The harsh truth is that the guys who need validation the most are the ones who get it the least. A woman does not want a man who is waiting for permission to be valuable. She wants a man who already knows his worth with or without her approval. So what is the move? Stop looking for reassurance. Next time you feel the urge to ask, "Did you have fun or was that okay?" Stop. Let her be the one who wonders if she impressed you. A man who seeks validation gives away all his power. A man who does not care if he gets it, that is the man she will chase. The philosopher Musonius Rufus, a Stoic teacher who profoundly influenced Epictetus, wrote that we should not use our words to command, but to persuade and to teach. And the greatest persuasion, I learned, is not about convincing someone of your worth. It is about creating a space where they can discover it for themselves. When you are genuinely present with a woman, when you listen to her without an agenda, when you are curious about her without trying to impress her, you create a space where she can feel safe enough to be herself. And in that space, attraction can grow naturally. The sixth mistake is trying to fix her problems. You see it all the time. A woman vents about her bad day, and a guy jumps into solution mode. He offers advice, tells her what she should do, and thinks he is helping. But guess what? That is not what she wants. Most women do not talk about their problems because they want answers. They talk about them because they want to feel heard. They want to connect emotionally, not have you play life coach. The mistake smart men do not make is trying to fix everything. Instead, they listen, acknowledge, and let her feel understood. Here is how to flip the script. Instead of saying you should just tell your boss off, say, "Damn, that sounds frustrating." Instead of just ignore them, say, "I get why that would bother you." Women are not looking for a problem solver. They are looking for a man who knows how to make them feel safe, heard, and understood. And the guy who gets that, he wins every time. The philosopher Hierocles, a lesser-known Stoic, wrote that we should approach others as we would approach ourselves, with patience and understanding. When a man approaches a woman's emotions with patience and understanding, when he recognizes the vulnerability beneath the surface, he becomes the kind of man she trusts. And trust is the gateway to everything else. The seventh mistake is apologizing for being a man. Here is the reality. Too many men walk around feeling guilty for being masculine. They think they need to tone it down, be softer, or always defer to what a woman wants. And do you know what happens? They get ignored, disrespected, and put in the friend zone. Smart men do not apologize for being men. They do not shrink themselves to make others comfortable. They own their presence, their confidence, and their standards. Think about the men women are drawn to. Leaders, warriors, creators. These are the men who command respect without ever demanding it. They do not need to explain themselves, and they certainly do not ask for permission to exist. So the next time you feel the urge to tone yourself down to be liked, remember this: a woman can only respect a man who respects himself first. The philosopher Cato the Younger, a Roman Stoic, said that the primary virtue is to hold your tongue. Who knows how to keep quiet is close to God. In other words, silence is not just a strategy. It is a virtue. It is a sign of wisdom. It is a sign of self-mastery. And when you master silence, you master yourself. The eighth mistake is prioritizing her over your purpose. A smart man knows that his purpose comes first, always. His mission, his goals, his growth, these are what define him. But too many men make the mistake of making a woman their priority before she has earned that spot. They cancel plans, put their dreams on hold, and reshape their lives just to accommodate her. And the moment she senses that, she loses interest. Women do not want to be a man's mission. They want to be part of a man's world, a world that already exists without them. So what is the move? Stay on your path. Build your empire. Keep your focus. A woman who is truly interested will fit into your life, not become the center of it. And the moment you stop chasing, that is when they start chasing you. The philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote that we have power over our minds, not outside events. A man has power over his own focus, his own purpose, his own mission. When he keeps that focus, when he does not let a woman derail him from his path, he becomes the kind of man that women naturally want to be part of his world. The ninth mistake is explaining yourself too much. A man who explains himself too much looks weak. It is that simple. There is a difference between clear communication and over-explaining. The first makes you look confident, direct, and in control. The second makes you look unsure, nervous, and desperate for approval. Ever notice how powerful men speak? They say less. They do not waste time justifying their decisions, apologizing for their choices, or making sure everyone understands why they did something. They let their actions speak. Here is an example of weak communication. I did not text you back because I was busy, but it was not like I was ignoring you. My phone died and I had work, and then strong communication is simply, I was busy. See the difference? The first one screams, please do not be mad at me. The second one commands respect. Women notice this. A man who explains himself too much signals that he is afraid of losing her. A man who says just enough and moves with certainty, that is the man who stays on her mind. So next time you feel the need to justify yourself, stop. Say less. Let the silence work in your favor, because the less you explain, the more powerful you seem. The philosopher Epictetus wrote that we should be silent as to services we have rendered, but speak of favors we have received. In other words, do not boast about what you have done for others. Do not seek recognition for your efforts. Let your absence speak for itself. Let your absence do the talking. Because sometimes, the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. At the end of the day, being a smart man with women is not about tricks, games, or manipulation. It is about standing strong in who you are. It is about knowing your worth, holding your frame, and refusing to compromise your values for the sake of approval. The philosopher Seneca also observed that it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. And when a man wastes his time on these mistakes, when he gives away his power, seeks validation, and prioritizes her over his purpose, he is wasting the opportunity for genuine connection. The philosopher Zeno of Citium taught that the goal of life is to live in agreement with nature, and it is human nature to seek connection, but it is also human nature to protect oneself from people who feel unsafe. A man who is desperate for approval feels unsafe. He feels unpredictable. He feels like he might turn on you if he does not get what he wants. A man who is grounded, on the other hand, feels safe. He feels steady. He feels like you can trust him because he is not trying to get anything from you. Every interaction between a man and a woman is an exchange of energy. When you are grounded, when you are comfortable in your own skin, when you are not seeking validation, you radiate a different kind of presence. That presence is magnetic. It draws people toward you without you having to do anything. Women feel it immediately, even if they cannot articulate it. They sense that you are a man who is not desperate, not needy, not looking for them to complete you. And that is exactly what makes them want you. The philosopher Hierocles wrote that we should approach others as we would approach ourselves, with patience and understanding. When a man approaches a woman with patience and understanding, when he does not try to control or manipulate her, when he simply allows the connection to unfold naturally, he becomes the kind of man she feels safe with. And safety, for a woman, is the foundation of desire. It is not about being perfect. It is not about having the right lines or the right moves. It is about being real. It is about being present. It is about being the kind of man who does not need to explain himself because his actions already speak volumes. It is about being the kind of man who does not chase because he knows that the right woman will chase him. It is about being the kind of man who does not seek validation because he already knows his worth. If you have made it this far, you are already ahead of most guys. Now it is time to apply it. Drop a comment below. What is the #1 mistake you see men make with women? Let us talk. And if you are serious about leveling up, hit that subscribe button because this is just the beginning. If this video helped you in one way or another, please consider supporting the channel using the Super Thanks feature. Your support means a lot, and it helps us keep creating better content specially for you. Every contribution goes directly into improving the quality of these videos and bringing you more of the Stoic wisdom and psychological insights that you have come to expect. Thank you for being part of this journey. Stay grounded, stay present, and I will see you right here in the next one.